Hi, and welcome to Prepping Essentials. I like cheese a lot, but it's something that's likely to be in short supply in a grid down situation. So is it something that you can make at home? And more importantly, is it something that you can make with your long-term food stores? Let's find out. Okay, so here we are in the kitchen and we're going to try and make some homemade cream cheese, which is similar to feta cheese. A couple of ways we can do this. I'm going to try both ways just to see how it works, because clearly we can just use basic fresh milk. This is regular whole milk. I think it says 3.7% fat on there, but it's just regular milk. Or if it's a grid down scenario and we don't have access to shop bought milk and we don't happen to have a goat or a cow handy, I'm going to also try making it from powdered milk. Now this particular powdered milk, this is one of the old powdered milks that I have on store still. I'm still busy trying to rotate through this. This is actually dried skimmed milk. Now I do have, bear with me 1 second, I switched over from storing this skimmed milk to storing this full milk. Now I'm reluctant to open a jar of this from my long-term stores just for the sake of trying to make some cheese as an experiment. So I'll use up, or I'll continue using up, this skimmed milk. So the chances are it's not going to be as great a result, because the fat content in whole milk is clearly far more than it is in the dried skimmed milk. But it'll do for the purposes of today's exercise. And we'll see if it works. So in terms of ingredients, clearly we need our milk. We also need some kind of acidic liquid. I'm going to use lemon juice for this. You could use lime juice, or you could even use vinegar, though the taste wouldn't be as good. So lemon or lime. I have lemon in store, so I'll use lemon. A few utensils, measuring jugs and containers, a pan, a sieve, some cheesecloth, and then just a few spoons, tablespoon, teaspoon, and my trusty stirrer stick. Now at some point, if you wanted to be really technical, you could actually take the temperature as you're warming up the milk. It needs to get to 180 degrees Fahrenheit, 82 degrees centigrade. Do not let it boil, whatever you do, because that will just kill the process. I might try with this and just see how it works, but more likely than not I'll just go by eye. So that's all of our utensils and ingredients. I'll tidy this up, get the pan onto the hob, spin the camera around, and you can watch as I start to cook this. So first things first, I've measured out 57 grams of the powdered milk, and I've mixed that with a pint of cold water. So I'm just going to pop that into the pan now. So that's going on to the left hand side. And then I've done the same thing. I've measured out a pint of the normal whole milk, just regular shop bought milk. Same thing again. Just going to pop that into the pan. Get that back in the fridge. So you have to remember, right side normal milk, left side the powdered milk. So I'm going to pop these rings on to warm up. I've got my little stirry stick with me, so we're pretty much ready to go. I'll come back to you as soon as I've got some temperature into these pans. I've just spun the camera around so you can actually see the pans. They are starting to warm up now. Dual-handed look. Ah dear, I should have done this one by one in reality, but at least you can see, or hopefully you'll see, the difference between the two different kinds of milk pretty much at the same time as the cooking process goes on. So I'm just continually stirring these around just to make sure that as they warm up they're not tempted to stick to the bottom of the pan. I've got my lemon juice on standby. We'll be using a tablespoon. I'll just pop it into this little container. A tablespoon of the lemon juice into that container, and then as we go through the cooking process I'll add a teaspoon at a time to try and get the reaction and change this from a milk and get the curds to separate out of the milk. So I'll just use 1 teaspoon of lime at a time until such time as it separates out, and we can then strain it. So it is a bit of a slow process this, because we are warming this milk through ever so slowly, trying not to get it past the temperature and reach boiling point, because if we do that the whole thing will fail. So I'll come back to you shortly once we've got up to the temperature, and I'll show you how I'm judging that. I might use a thermometer, I don't know, I'll probably just eyeball it, but you'll see bubbles start to form around the outside of the pan as we start to get towards temperature, but slowly does it. We do not want it to get too hot. Not sure if you can see or not, but this is just starting to froth up now. Just continuing to stir it very lightly. It's not bubbling per se, it's just starting to froth up, so it tells me it's getting quite close. So what we'll do is we'll grab our lemon juice, just pop that into our little container, and I'll be ready then to start putting a teaspoon at a time into these pans. And hopefully that will separate out the curds from the whey. We're almost there. I don't know if you can see that or not, that's just starting to bubble up. So let me just turn this heat down a little bit, because we do not want it to get to boiling point. The powdered milk is taking slightly longer, but I am being really cautious. Really cautious with the temperatures. So I think this whole milk one is about ready. Yeah, even though I've turned it down, it is still bubbling. So let's give this a whirl and get some of the lemon juice in. And just continue stirring that around. We'll see what happens. I'll just give it a minute or so for the reaction to take place. the powdered milk one still isn't quite reaching the temperature we need yet. I daren't turn it up. I don't see any separation there, so I'll pop in another teaspoon and again just stir it around. Painstaking this. I'm hoping that you can see this on the video. I've added another teaspoon of the let me just grab something out of here, maybe you can see it a bit better. I've just added another teaspoon of the lemon juice, and you can see now it's starting to clump up, which is really good news. This other one is just coming to temperature now, so it's ready as well to have the lemon juice added. I think maybe one more in there. It's all an experiment when you do it for the first time. I guess I'll soon know if I've overdone it. It's difficult trying to juggle two at the same time. But that's separating out really nicely now. I think that's almost done. So I'll just start adding the lemon juice. Now I've done that one, I know I can do two at the same time without it overreacting. And I'll turn the heat off this one, because I think that's just about done. Bear in mind I'm only using a pint of milk here, so don't be expecting a huge block of cheese. This is just to give you an idea of how it's done. I think this one's going to take a little bit of persuasion to to turn. Yeah, this one's ready. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens with this powdered milk, bearing in mind it is skimmed milk as well. So I'm not really expecting a great deal out of this, but it would be interesting to know whether it works or it doesn't. Right, I think before I kill this one, I think we'll have this one out. So this could get messy. Let me get something to put that on. The joys of doing it live. So, got my little cheesecloth into the metal strainer. And let's take a look at this and see what happens. Try and get as much as I can. Thankfully, it hasn't stuck to the bottom, as you can see there. So that's good. Let's not neglect this one. And I think that's going to need a little bit more to persuade it to start separating. Having said that, of course, you don't know how much fat content there is in this, if there is anything for it to separate out. Ah, okay, it is now, I can see it. I don't know if you can see that or not. That one's not far off either. Right. Don't want that to stick to the bottom. That can get turned off now as well, because that's done. And we'll see what's happening with this one. I didn't realise when I was doing this that you couldn't actually see. The joys of live video. That's the first one with the whole milk, and this is the one from the powdered milk. So there we go, we've got two little cheeses. Now bear in mind this is from 1 pint of milk, so quite a substantial one there. Bit of a yellowy creamy colour to that from the whole milk, and then this one we've got slightly less, probably about 2/3 of this one, and it's not as creamy, it's more of a white from the powdered milk. So I'll just let those cool down for a second and then we'll do a little bit of a taste test. So there's our cheese made with the milk. It's actually quite firm, and bear in mind this is still hot because it's literally just been made, but that's how it looks. Nice crumbly kind of consistency. Yeah, it's actually quite firm. Definitely creamy. I'm going to have a bit more of this. Yes. Very nice. You can, of course, add whatever you want to these. If you wanted to put in some, I don't know, some chives or chopped onions or whatever you fancy, really. This is the one from the powdered milk. Again, it's a firm consistency. It's probably a little bit more rubbery, I'm tempted to say. Certainly a lot harder than the one with the milk. So, that's definitely harder. More like a solid cheese than a cream cheese. Just take another little chunk of that. Oops. Definitely firmer. And not quite as creamy as the other one, but certainly still nice. So the main takeaway from this is that yes, it is possible to make cream cheese from, and bear in mind it was skimmed powdered milk. So not only can we make it from regular milk out of the shop in a larger volume, but we can still make the cream cheese from powdered milk and even from skimmed powdered milk. So there we go. Cream cheese made entirely from our preps. Well, there we are. Cream cheese made from cooking with our preps. Bon appetit. Well, that's it for this video. I hope there was something in there that was of interest to you. If you did like the video, please do click on the like button. Also, feel free to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done so. As always, I welcome any comments, questions or suggestions you might have. What do you think about the cheese? Is it something you want to have a go at? And is there anything else food-wise that might be in short supply in a something hit the fan scenario that you can make from home? Let me know in the comments section below. But for now, thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.